Hi, I'm Dr. Adity Bhushan, a mother, daughter, wife, friend, and a technology leader. While these roles define different parts of my life, together they have shaped the person that I am and the leader that I aspire to be. Professionally, as Senior Director, Technology Strategy and Enterprise Products, I lead the enterprise release transformation across global SAP and digital platforms. Over the past 2 decades, my journey through SAP, Wipro, Biocon, Unilever, and now PepsiCo has been driven by one purpose: creating technology that enables people to succeed. Beyond the corporate world, I am passionate about giving back to the future generations through my articles, books, online courses, discussions. As an award-winning author and Udemy instructor, I create content on leadership, risk management, lean principles, project management, value-driven performance measurement. Sharing knowledge is not something I do outside of work. It is central to how I lead. My foundation began with an engineering degree from BIT Meshra, followed by executive education in supply chain management from UNC Chapel Hill, and a doctorate from SSBM Geneva. Each milestone broadened my perspective, but also reinforced one enduring belief. Leadership is not about knowing more. It is about enabling others to become more. Looking back over the last 20 years, I don't remember my career as a sequence of job titles, promotions. I remember defining moments. As a young engineer, I believed the best technical solution would always win. Experience taught me something far more important. Technology does not transform organizations. It is the people who do. That realization somehow changed everything. Whether implementing enterprise platforms, modernizing global operating models, leading large-scale transformations, I discovered that sustainable success always comes from people who feel trusted, empowered, inspired, not just managed. Today, my role is to simplify complexity, strengthen governance, improve predictability, and help build organizations that are ready for tomorrow's challenges. But my most valuable leadership lessons did not come from boardrooms. They came from life. Being a daughter taught me humility. Being a wife taught me about partnership, trust. A mother is a different ballgame altogether. It reminds me every day that leadership begins with patience, empathy, believing in people before they believe in themselves. A friend taught me while people may forget what you said, they rarely forget how you make them feel. These experiences shape the philosophy that guides every decision that I make. Empower people, build future-ready organizations, pursue technical excellence without ever compromising human leadership. Because strategy without people is merely a plan. Technology without trust is simply another system, and transformation without culture rarely survives. So when people ask me what I do, I don't just say that I lead enterprise technology strategy. I say and I believe that I create environments where people can do the best work of their careers, where innovation, accountability, and continuous learning becomes leadership's DNA. If there is one legacy I hope to leave behind, it is not the transformations I delivered, the dashboards I built, or the programs I led. It is the leaders I helped develop. Because projects end, technology evolves, organizations change, but leaders create the future. Looking back, the biggest shift in my leadership was not about changing organizations. It was changing myself, learning, unlearning, and relearning. Early in my career, I focused heavily on delivering projects on time, within budget, within measurable business outcomes. These metrics today also matter. But over time, I realized that the organizations that consistently succeeded were those where people felt psychologically safe, empowered to challenge ideas, and encouraged to grow. Leading global teams across different cultures, functions, time zones taught me that leadership is less about having all the answers and more about creating an environment where the best ideas can emerge from anywhere. That realization fundamentally shaped my leadership philosophy. Today, I measure success not only by the delivery metrics, but also by the strength of the team that I build, the leaders I develop, and the culture I leave behind. Today, I consciously try to lead from behind rather than from the front. Instead of being the hero, I try to become the coach. Instead of solving every problem myself, I create teams that can solve problems collectively. Instead of telling people to find or create their place at the table, I drive them to redesign the table. For me, leadership is about creating systems that become stronger because people feel valued. And the real success comes when the people are confident enough to lead without you. One of the initiatives I'm very proud of was, I wouldn't say it was about transforming delivery model or how releases are managed, more about how the different pieces of the puzzles fit together. Organizations are like an orchestra where everyone has to be coordinated and synchronized for the music to be called music. Hence, we need to start thinking about the transformation that changes how we work together. When I joined, release management was viewed as a deployment function. Rather than redesigning only the process, we focused on changing the conversations. We brought together engineering, product, infrastructure, cybersecurity, architecture, business teams together. Traditionally, they worked in silos. So instead of saying who owns this, we started asking how we succeed together. Consciously, I moved from the role of solutioning to architecturing the solution design by alignments, collaborative discussions, becoming the anchor who streamlined the process, removed barriers, and helped people see the big picture. As trust grew, collaboration improved naturally. The operational outcomes were significant, leading to greater predictability, stronger governance, improved delivery, reduced risk. But the outcome I'm proudest of, and I am proud of operational excellence, but it was watching people shift from protecting individual success to owning the collective outcome. Instead of fighting for the piece of the pie, we starting making the bigger pie with enough for everyone. That experience reinforced my belief that if people are the foundation of transformation, then developing people must become a leader's greatest responsibility. I believe that the greatest measure of leadership is not the number of initiatives or the type of initiatives you deliver, but gradually the number of leaders you help create. Throughout my career, I've consciously invested in mentoring people from within and outside my organization. As a I Am Remarkable facilitator, mentor, visiting faculty member, Udemy instructor, I've coached hundreds of professionals to build confidence, build leadership capabilities, and advocate for themselves. Within my team, I encourage ownership rather than dependency. I believe in avoiding the hero culture totally. A few individuals become indispensable when we are following the hero culture. Instead, I focus more on creating resilient teams where knowledge is shared, diverse perspectives are welcomed, and learning from failures is celebrated. One example was during the establishment of the Service Delivery and PMO Center of Excellence. Alongside designing global processes, I invested heavily in capability building, mentoring future leaders, creating standardized ways of working that empower teams across geographies to make decisions confidently. The result was not only operational excellence, a sustainable process, but a sustainable leadership pipeline that continued delivering value long after the transformation was complete. My goal has always been to leave every team stronger than how I found it. One of the most challenging leadership decisions involving driving enterprise-wide standardization across global teams that had long established local ways of working. Introducing a common governance model meant asking experienced teams to change familiar processes, which naturally creates resistance. While it would have been easier to compromise for short-term acceptance, I believe that long-term organizational resilience requires consistency, transparency, shared accountability is very important. So instead of enforcing change from the top, I focused on listening first, engaging stakeholders early, and incorporate the feedback into the operating model, explaining the business rationale for the change, and ensuring that the teams understood not only what was changing, but why. The guiding principle was very simple. People support change when they feel included in creating it. Sometimes for a leader to lead, it becomes important to become a coach. And the right questions asked at the right time leads the change from the core, which is always the people. The transformation eventually strengthened governance, improved collaboration across functions, and increased trust between business and technology teams. It reinforced the belief that courageous leadership is about balancing conviction with empathy. My advice to women leaders is very simple. Don't wait until you feel 100% ready. Don't wait for permission to believe in yourself. Too often I've seen women underestimate themselves. For many years I've mentored incredibly capable, talented women who underestimated themselves despite having every qualification needed to succeed and to lead. Leadership is not about knowing everything. It is about willing to learn, willing to make decisions, willing to fail, and most often bringing others along with you. It is about acting despite the fear. If you're not able to find the seat at the table, redesign the table. Find your authentic voice. Speak up even when your opinions differ from the majority. Building expertise, very important. Building relationships, even more. Influence comes from trust and knowledge, both together. Most importantly, never believe that kindness and strength are opposites. Some of the strongest leaders I have come across or I've known lead with empathy, humility, and courage. I always believe that empathy does not make you weak. Authenticity is not a limitation. For being a successful leader who can leave behind a legacy, you need not build a different version of yourself. You need to be your authentic self. Your ability to listen, nurture, bring people together is a leadership superpower. Lift others while you climb. Celebrate the successes, celebrate the opportunities, but celebrate the failures as well. Because the learnings that come from failure make you grow. And remember that success is far more meaningful when someone else succeeds because you believed in them first. That to me is the true sense of leadership. It is not about titles or authority. It is about creating environments where people feel seen, valued, empowered to achieve more than what they believe they can do. If my work has transformed organizations, I hope it has done so because it first transformed the people within themselves. That is the legacy that I aspire to leave. Thank you so much. This is Adity Bhushan again. Speak soon.